Hello, good evening. Welcome to North West Tonight, Monday evening. I'm Roger Johnson. Thank you for joining us. Our top story. 3 victims killed by unfit elderly motorists. Their legacy could be a change in the law for drivers over 70, but one victim's son tells us it's not enough.
It's a nonsense it's over 70s when there's evidence that there's people under 70 actually been killing people because they can't see.
The proposed changes follow recommendations from a Lancashire coroner earlier this year. We'll have the story for you. Also tonight, how a farmer, big occasions and a marker pen have helped keep the region's air ambulance flying. Liverpool miss out on the season's first silverware, losing on penalties in the Community Shield.
Look at this, done like a pro.
What's Kay doing crawling through the tiniest door for the latest in her series, visiting 25 special places in 2025?
The mind boggles, but all will be revealed at the end of the programme, along with an incredibly hot forecast.
Marie Cunningham, Grace Folds, Peter Westwell and Anne Ferguson. They were all killed here in the Northwest by drivers with failing eyesight. And in April, you might remember that Lancashire's coroner, Dr. James Adderley, brought the inquests into their deaths together for maximum impact and told the government that things had to change. Well, tonight it seems that that might happen, with plans to make all drivers face mandatory eye tests every 3 years once they pass the age of 70. Jonas Muller has this report.
Mary Cunningham was killed, her family say, because of the selfish and reckless actions of an elderly driver who should not have been on the road.
Mum and Grace were crossing here. Glyn Jones was driving straight down this road here from the traffic lights there.
Mary's son Terry said plans to change the current system will make a difference.
At the moment, they're asked to self-certify, which is typically putting a tick in a box. But that in itself is wrong because it encourages bad behaviour.
The driver who killed Mary and her friend Grace Folds was told 2 decades earlier that his sight was insufficient to meet minimum requirements. Peter Westwell and Anne Ferguson were also killed by other elderly drivers. An inquest found they lied or made up stories to prioritise their own enjoyment and independence over the lives of others. In April, the then senior coroner for Lancashire, Dr. James Adderley, wrote to the government to say action had to be taken to prevent future deaths. He said the current system for enforcing legal standards was ineffective, unsafe and unfit.
She was crossing her friend over the road to make sure she got across safely. Peter Westwell, he was killed by a driver who was told to give up his licence. And Anne Ferguson, sadly, was killed by a guy who had the worst cataracts ever seen in the last 30 years of the optician. And her husband committed suicide because she was his only carer.
Currently, everyone aged over 70 must renew their licence and update their photographs every 3 years. But it's up to the driver to tell the DVLA if there's a problem with eyesight, although this doesn't include being short-sighted, long-sighted or colourblind. The government will consult on a requirement that could make eye tests for the over 70s compulsory when driving licences are renewed.
This is the biggest shake-up to our driving laws for decades, and that's because this is what the public have been telling us that they want. They want us to be taking action. They feel like the time is right for us to review these laws because they haven't been reviewed in such a long time.
Today there was support for the plan.
Should be younger than that, actually. Pension age, why not?
It depends. I don't avoid going to have my eyes tested.
I mean, part of me thinks it should be people's choice, but then on the other hand, you've got to look at safety.
But Terry Cunningham wants the government to go much further and introduce regular checks once a driving test is passed.
It's a nonsense it's over 70s when there's evidence that there's people under 70 actually been killing people because they can't see.
The changes will be part of a new road safety strategy in the autumn. But for Mary Cunningham's family, her death was not inevitable, but avoidable. Jonas Muller, BBC North West Tonight, Southport.
Terry Cunningham talking about his mum, Mary Cunningham, and that proposed change in the law. Now, here are some of the other stories that are making headlines in the northwest tonight. And a man is in a critical condition in hospital after being assaulted outside a bar in Manchester. Officers responded to reports of an assault on the junction of Deansgate and Atkinson Street. At around 11 o'clock on Saturday night, 2 men aged 23 and 33 were arrested. The Teachers' Union says its members could strike over plans for a Lancashire school to use a teacher based in Devon to teach some maths students remotely. A petition's been set up against the proposals, and the trust which runs the Valley Leadership Academy in Bacup says that pupils will be supported by a qualified teacher in the classroom. Glossop Mountain Rescue Team is calling for visitors to keep access routes clear after they were delayed responding to an emergency because of what they called obstructive parking. A walker suffered a serious head injury when he fell during a visit to a Peak District waterfall on Sunday evening. The injured man was taken to hospital for treatment. And a quick update on a story we brought you last week. Wigan swimmer Sam Farrow had to end her record-breaking attempt to swim 6 lengths of Windermere. That's more than 100 kilometres at the weekend. She picked up a shoulder injury 2 lengths in, having already done 33k, but she says that she will try again. Now, if you're a regular viewer, you'll possibly recognise the name Ollie Harrison. He was on the programme when we were on a farm last Thursday, in fact. He's one of the Northwest farmers that we've followed over recent years, and it was filming for us, which started Ollie off as a YouTube blogger or vlogger, I guess. But since then, he's used his daily videos to raise money for the Northwest Air Ambulance. And in doing that, he has raised more than £100,000. Matt Trewerne's been to see him today.
There's Ollie the farmer and Ollie the YouTuber.
So I'll row this one.
His daily videos about life on the farm have attracted thousands of viewers, but also raised thousands of pounds by giving shout-outs to people celebrating birthdays and anniversaries.
Because I was doing a video every day, people knew this, so they were like, oh, it's little Johnny's birthday today, can you wish him happy birthday? Well, of course, I did that a few times, and then everyone then started saying, can you do this, can you do that? And then it got a little bit out of hand, and I thought, hold on a second, we can do something better here. So I said, well, I'll tell you what, if you want a birthday mention or an anniversary or whatever, leave a donation on the Just Giving page for the Northwest Air Ambulance. We see it a lot around here. I mean, there's a motorway network it's always landing on, and then also agriculture. You know, if there's an accident, we're nowhere near a town or a main road, so the air ambulance is pretty important for farmers.
The Northwest Air Ambulance carries out around 4,000 missions every year, but their life-saving work relies entirely on donations. So the £100,000 raised by Ollie and his viewers will be well spent.
We've estimated that approximately that's probably a year's supply of blood that we can give to patients. So those 45 or 50 people, Ollie and his supporters, they'll never meet them, but we have the privilege of being able to deliver that care that will make a massive difference to those people's lives.
Ollie, I've actually got something here for you. Because this is a celebration, I've bought cake. Now, this is just a couple of memories across your fundraiser, because it is an incredible achievement that you've done.
Hold on, Ollie.
It's people like Ollie that, you know, from a simple idea, it's just grown and grown into something wonderful. The fact that he's raised over £100,000 is amazing, and it's thanks to people like Ollie that are going to make sure that we can continue flying to save lives.
The cars can...
Well, Ollie's fundraising milestone had to be celebrated online too, of course, with a live YouTube stream about the work of the air ambulance.
So more than 100,000. Where do you go from here? You're going to keep going?
Yeah, well, the next milestone, what would it be, $500,000 or would it be $1 million? I don't know. It might take a while to get to $1 million. Don't know how old I'll be then, though.
Matt Trewerne, BBC Northwest Tonight in Prescott.
Oh, well done, Ollie. Keep going. Now, here are some of the other stories that people are reading from BBC News. And concerns have been raised about the number of applications to open bars around Everton's new stadium. One councillor warned against it becoming a free-for-all. One of the Isle of Man's 4 reservoirs will be drained over the next month to allow for essential maintenance. The Clips Reservoir supplies customers in the south and the east of the island. And mountain rescuers in Cumbria came to the aid of an injured husky on Saturday night. Prince's owner needed help carrying him off Scarfell after he cut his paws. Apparently enjoyed being on the stretcher. You can find out more bbc.co.uk/local news, or of course have a look on the BBC News app. Now, if you go to many concerts, or if you've watched things like Glastonbury on the BBC, you'll have seen people holding their phones up to film the performances or maybe take photos. Some stars, in fact, have banned people from taking their phones into their gigs, and now some nightclubs are doing the same, including Manchester's Warehouse project. Kaya Black's report has some flashing images in it.
For a younger generation, filming their nights out is part of the fun, with videos all over social media after a big music event or festival.
I quite like filming at gigs every now and again. Obviously, it's nice to look back at and capture the video.
Nobody's living in the moment. You need to go feral. At a concert, you need to go absolutely feral.
A couple of bits here and there. When I went to see Beyonce earlier in the year, did a little bit, then put my phone down.
Amber's Club in Manchester opened in December last year and have been operating a no phones policy since then. They're pretty strict on the no filming inside, so we could only film the outside of the club.
So if I was coming here on a Saturday, what happens? Talk me through it.
So yeah, you'll line up over here, and then what we would do is as you enter, we would just put a sticker over your phone and just let you know no photos, no videos.
Just on the back camera?
Just on the back camera. We let you use your front camera for Face ID.
Okay, fair enough.
So yeah. For us, it just kills the vibe on the dance floor and sucks the energy out of the room in a way. We have members of staff that go around and kind of enforce that policy.
How's it been received?
I think it's been great, yeah. We haven't had many issues. You can see people are really going for it and like enjoying the music rather than just filming it for, you know, for Snapchat or whatever.
The Warehouse project is the biggest club night in the Northwest, and with a capacity of 10,000, hundreds of thousands of people will be coming here this year. But from September, the venues say they're going to be operating a no phones policy in parts of the event. When entering one of the rooms, stickers will be put over cameras and the team plan to share their footage at the end of the night.
And I think that's really cool. I think it brings it back of what it's meant to be about.
Generally, I would like to be able to take pictures of the acts themselves if I was going there.
If you paid for a ticket, you want to capture it, you know.
For PJ, a promoter and DJ who plays in grassroots venues, phones can be a positive.
The industry's struggling and I can't always afford to take a videographer or have somebody with me to get the content. So when people are grabbing it for me, it really helps me on my social media presence. We're losing grassroots venues at such a rapid rate. I think we need to be so focused on getting people to come out. It's not our place to tell them what they can or can't do.
Rules of the clubs aside, phones aren't going anywhere. So is a sticker going to be enough to unstick people from their phones for the night? Kaya Black, BBC Northwest Tonight.
It's a long time since I was in a room like that, I've got to tell you. Now, graduating from university, of course, is always a special time for students and their proud parents. But for the Kennedy family from Wigan, it was an even more memorable day. It was a proud day for the parents and for the children because mother and daughter Stephanie and Mia both graduated from the same university course on the same day. And they're here. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Both of you. You were at Edge Hill. You both did child and adolescent mental health and well-being.
We did.
Mia, what was it like having your mum on your course?
Eventful.
That's a polite answer. Yes.
Yeah. It was a shock at first, but we did slowly start getting used to each other, being in the same class.
Stephanie, what was it like for you?
I thought it was amazing. It was fabulous. It really was. I mean, if not just for the support, you know, getting there for one, because we did the car share, so the commute was a lot easier and we could just like vent off to each other, like not necessarily in the classroom, but on the way back home and then when we got home. So yeah, real good support network going on between us both.
And were you able to help each other, Mia, with the assignments?
We didn't actually look at each other's assignments. We kind of just left it as she does hers, I do mine, and we went on like that. So she did very much speak about it though, all the time.
And Stephanie, I mean this with the greatest of respect. Were you the oldest on the course?
I think I was.
Yeah. So what were the youngsters like?
They was brilliant.
Yeah.
There was no like me and them. You know, very welcoming. Yeah. Didn't feel out of place at all, which for me was a big barrier initially. I did think I'm too old for this, I'm not going to fit in, but no, nothing like that. It was absolutely amazing.
So Mia, what made you choose this course and what are you going to do now?
Well, originally, I'd always wanted to do something with mental health, something I struggled with a lot especially at high school, so I knew going through like college and then picking what degree I wanted to do was definitely like mental health related. But doing the course, I volunteered with Everton in the community in the Tackling the Blues programme, which is educating mental health in schools and through sport as well. And that's where I really found like my passion in the classroom. So I'm going to do my teacher training now in September.
You're staying at Edge Hill.
Yeah, staying at Edge Hill.
Stephanie, you just did it actually for something to do, but you've realised actually you can't waste what you've learned. That's the wrong word, but you know what I mean. You've got to use it.
Absolutely, yeah. So mine was just like you said, just as a hobby. I'm doing it because I want to do it. It's always something I'd wanted to do. But after 3 years and looking at the prevalence of children's mental health at the minute, I just think it's not something I can just put in the drawer. It's not just something I can say, yeah, I've done it now, tick the box, let's get on. I'm definitely going to implement that degree and do something with it.
Which is wonderful. And the question, obviously, that I didn't ask at the very beginning, which I should have done, who did better?
Oh, my mum.
Thanks.
Mum got a...
I got a first class honours and I got the study prize for getting the high
being a swot.
No, not being a swot, but just getting the high score for the dissertation, which was a massive shock. I weren't expecting that. I won't lie, I weren't expecting that at all. I was just happy that I got the degree. But Mia equally has done absolutely amazing. She's done fantastic.
You got a 2-1, didn't you?
Yeah.
Which is tremendous.
Yeah,
well,
she's done fantastic.
Congratulations, both of you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming in, and congratulations on getting the extra prize as well.
Thank you very
wonderful.
much. Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Stephanie. Thank you, Mia, and wish you all the very best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Right, let's move on to sport. You just mentioned Everton in the community. Julia's here tonight, and there's some big transfer news which involves a player going to the Blues of Merseyside from the Blues of Manchester, Julie.
Yes, Roger, because tonight Everton have agreed a season-long loan deal for Manchester City winger Jack Grealish. You'll remember the 29-year-old joined City for what was a British record fee of £100 million. That was in August 2021, but has since fallen out of favour, making just 7 league starts last season. Grealish will have a medical and could even be available for Everton's game at Leeds a week today. After last season's runaway Premier League title success, Liverpool fans could have been forgiven for going to Wembley yesterday with hopes of another piece of silverware. But they lost the pre-season Community Shield to Crystal Palace on penalties, as Phil Cunliffe reports.
Liverpool fans were hoping this would signal the start of a trophy-laden season, yet it turned out to be a faltering start in the Wembley sunshine. Proof that even the very best can have their off days. Arne Slot gave debuts to 4 of his 5 major summer signings, and 2 of those combined early on to open the scoring.
Well, that's how you announce your arrival in English football.
Florian Wirtz feeding Hugo Ekitike, 1-0 Liverpool. Crystal Palace, though, are plucky, and the FA Cup winners soon hit back through Jean-Philippe Mateta's spot kick.
No problem.
Just as Liverpool fans were starting to applaud their former player Diogo Jota and his brother Andre Silva, the Reds retook the lead through another new boy, Jeremy Frimpong.
Oh, look at his smile!
But the underdogs weren't finished, and when Ismaila Sarr was played onside by Frimpong, the tie was heading into extra time, eventually to penalties. Goalkeeper Dean Henderson was the Palace shootout hero, saving from Alexis McAllister and Harvey Elliott. Mo Salah could only find the stand to give youngster Justin Devaney his chance to give Palace their 2nd Wembley trophy in 3 months.
Deep breath from Devaney, who scores into the top corner.
There was every reason for me to expect that we would win this game. It needs maybe a little bit of adjustment defensively at the moment, because we don't concede a lot of chances, but we do concede goals at the moment.
What kind of impact it should have is that we realize that we need a couple of things that we have to improve as a team if we want to retain the title, what will be obviously a very big job in itself.
A bit of fine-tuning required then for the champions in the run-up to Friday's opening Premier League game against Bournemouth at Anfield. Phil Cunliffe, BBC North West Tonight.
On to the EFL now, and differing fortunes for our 2 championship sides in their opening games of the season. Preston North End went route 1 to earn a point away at QPR. Milutin Osmajic getting on the end of goalkeeper Daniel Iverson's measured clearance to level things at 1-1. But it was a low-key start for Blackburn Rovers, who managed only 1 shot on target in a 1-0 defeat at West Brom. Into League One, where Stockport made it 2 wins out of 2 with a 2-1 win at Wycombe Wanderers. Bolton Wanderers, beaten by County last week, are up and running after a 2-0 win at home to Plymouth Argyle. A home debut goal from Mason Burstow, the highlight. In League Two, Salford won at Notts County, but Crewe topped the early table after victory over Accrington Stanley. Reece Hutchinson and teenager Callum Agius on target to make it 6 points from 6. They're ahead of Fleetwood on goal difference, only after 2 goals from Will Davis secured victory over Bristol Rovers. And Tranmere were the day's biggest winners, 4-0 at home to Shrewsbury, with Omari Patrick's goal the pick of the bunch at Prenton Park. Some good news for Southport golfer Tommy Fleetwood, who's been named in Europe's Ryder Cup team for the 4th successive time. That's despite his wait for a first PGA title continuing. Fleetwood lost in a playoff for the St Jude Championship last night. He'd gone into the final round in the lead before a bogey par finish saw him overtaken by eventual champion Justin Rose. On to cricket, and Manchester Originals men have just started at home to London Spirit as they look for their first win in the 100. It follows a last-gasp defeat for the women's team in what was a thrilling finish at Emirates Old Trafford. The Originals looked to be set for victory, but the visitors rallied to reach their target of 123 with just 2 balls to spare. And it goes from bad to worse for Salford Red Devils in Super League. They lost 8-6 at Hull FC yesterday and have won just twice all season. So, Roger, they remain rooted to the bottom of the table.
Oh dear, yeah, it goes from bad to worse for Salford. Thank you very much, Julia. Thank you. Now, Kay's here, as you can see, because you've got the latest in our series of 25 special places in 2025.
Special people or places in 2025. We've been some incredible places. On Friday, we were at the railway. Now, Anne had emailed me and Roger to invite me to the Lancashire village of Chipping. And I have to say, it really rather was blooming lovely. With its flowers in bloom and surrounding hills, in the trough of Bowland, Chipping has hardly changed throughout the centuries.
So this is our community allotment at Chipping in Bloom. Local people grow plants and vegetables and flowers. You've got the sweet peas, you've got the scabious. And it also helps bring wildlife. You can see lots of bees and butterflies just pollinating.
So anyone in the community can come and help out?
Yes. It's just so nice to live somewhere where everybody does care about their environment and the place they live.
Ah, so this is the wildlife pond you talked about?
Yes, and look, there's a dragonfly.
Oh, yeah.
It's got so much here that probably we're just spoiled. It's retained the sort of village identity. We think it's the oldest continuously trading shop in the country. So it's been here since the 17th century.
And would any village be complete without jam and scones?
I make the handmade bespoke furniture for this place, yes. Yeah, and it's all made from reclaimed timber. So, and there's no screws, nails, it's all, you know, dowel and one thing and another. I used to drive the bus here. So, and yes, there is a point where it is very tight, yes.
What's that like when you're on that bit?
I wouldn't know because I closed my eyes. I put my foot down and closed my eyes.
But behind all this beauty lies a very dark secret.
In the Sun Inn, which is just opposite us now, there is the story of the ghost that prowls that pub. Some people say they can feel it, feel a presence.
Have you ever felt the presence?
No.
No.
I felt a presence, but not in there. And if I have, it's probably the Guinness that's done it.
So, for a bird's eye view, it's up the tower we go.
So come up the stairs are.
I didn't get the memo about the outfit.
You didn't, did you?
Look at this, done like a pro. Hey!
Well done.
Yes!
Well.
Bring it in, I made it to the top.
When you look around.
Look at that. It was absolutely stunning. Actually, it was during the last heat wave. It was so hot. And Noel, Trevor, closing his eyes. Thank you so much for having me. I loved it. Talk of a heat wave. There's another one coming. Now, let's take a quick look at your Weather Watcher pictures. Oh, do you know what? Don't worry about those. I'll put them on my socials so you can see the Weather Watcher pictures at the end of the programme. I always love to see them. One was of cloudy skies, which we had this morning. Then the sun came out. We've got cloud returning in some parts now. And the heat has already started to climb. I do think overnight tonight will be really quite uncomfortable. We are looking at the risk of thunderstorms. There could be the odd one tonight, more so on Thursday, and then a settled weekend on the cards. Temperatures are going to be up and down. But for today, tomorrow and Wednesday, I do think we are going to reach heatwave status, which is 25 degrees or more for 3 consecutive days. And you can see the oranges on the map getting a little bit darker in colour, indicating that those temperatures are continuing to pick up as we pull in a southeasterly breeze with warm, hot air from the continent. Now, through this evening, cloud has already increased. For parts of the Isle of Man, Cumbria, we've seen some outbreaks of rain, and I think we are likely to get some showers pushing up from the south, so affecting parts of Merseyside, Greater Manchester, Lancashire over during the second half of the night. Now, one or two of those could be heavy. You could hear the odd rumble of thunder. Uncomfy sleeping-wise. I know my kids will moan. Temperatures down to between about 14 and 16 degrees. Have you spotted a new name on the weather map? I'm sure by now you'll know why I picked it. I do love a good name, especially one that includes wine. Now then, a warm start to your day tomorrow morning. Any showers will lift and clear. A fine day on the cards. The winds will stay light. Look at the temperatures across more southern parts, 30 degrees. UV levels will be high. Pollen levels will be high. Do what you can to stay hydrated and keep cool. As we head during midweek towards Thursday, this cold front is going to introduce a bit more instability in the air. So we are looking at the risk of showers. Some of those could be heavy, potentially thundery through Thursday, but not everyone will see them. Early doors Wednesday morning, there'll be some mist and fog, particularly affecting coastal parts. It'll lift and clear. Top temperatures again coming in at 30 degrees. As we head into the weekend, they'll start to pick up once again. That's your forecast.
Phew, what a scorcher. John's going on holiday. He arrives in Blackpool on Saturday. He says, what's the weather going to be like?
All right, John.
Look, it's on there.
John, what time are you going, John? I'll give you a full postcode forecast. It'll be lovely.
It's going to be sunny. Said it on there.
Scorch, yeah.
Thank you. And thank you for watching. Whatever you're doing, have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.
Take care.